one theme, 28 collages. This is a flip through of my altered book, Collage Journal. Welcome to this video. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So this is an altered book. It originally had 179 pages. I have torn out pretty much all of the pages that were sewn in. I've only left basically the skeleton with the pages that were glued in. So from 179 pages, I now have 14 double pages left, meaning that I have 28 collages, and I always glued 2 pages together. So in all, there were actually 28 pages left in this book. So as you can see, it bulked up quite a bit just through the collaging. So let's have a quick flip through. In the front here, I have a little cheat sheet with ideas for media that I could use on these collages in case I got stuck and didn't know what to do. So some of these things are like watercolor, postage stamps, snippet roll, fabric, lace, embellishments, number stamps, wax seal, paint splatters, stenciling, texture paste, and paint, like acrylic paint. So this cheat sheet was very handy to have. Now, the theme of this beautiful vintage book was the color theme. On one side, it was the color scheme that I had. So the colors that you see here, I kept pretty much throughout the whole book. And I love having these cohesive collages all in one book. And the other theme that it has throughout actually is more or less the corona pandemic theme, although it's extremely subtle. So if you wouldn't know that, for most of these collages, you would not connect it. But I made these collages during the pandemic lockdown that we had here in Austria. And I did at least one collage a day throughout. So the first one was April 9th and the last one was April 30th. So basically, what is that, like 3 weeks? Of course, the quarantine was longer, but that's as far as I got with these collages. So I don't want to ramble too much, so let's get into it. I will point out some of the items I've been using because those are always the questions I get. Where did I get such and such a thing? So I will show you some of these items here, and I will link whatever I can as usual in the description box below. So if you're looking for anything specific, please check that. And if you don't find it there, it means that I didn't buy it online. I found it somewhere local and I didn't find a sufficient substitute online. So in a lot of these, I've used splatters in this beautiful color, which came from my most beloved Tim Holtz Distress Stain in Wild Honey. This is something I cannot link because I cannot find a link that works for me, because I can only link things that are also shippable to Austria. For some reason, even though I'm on Amazon.com, because it's connected with my address, I really have an issue sometimes with linking things. So this one I cannot link, but I'm sure you can find this on Amazon or in your local art store or on other online stores. This is some coffee dyed paper. I added the wild honey on top of it just by going over it and then embossing with white embossing powder. All of these, or most of these photos that you see here, this one is an exception. I don't remember where I got this one from, but most of my other photos that you see in here are scans of my beautiful cabinet cards that I have found at various flea markets. So just to tell you again, because not everybody is familiar with cabinet cards. So cabinet cards are photos that they had, I think it was 1870, that they mounted on cardstock or cardboard. And usually they have amazing backs as well with the logo and information of the photographer or the photography studio. I will actually be having these as digitals in my future online store, but I'm afraid to tell you that this won't happen until beginning of September. So September 1 is actually my planned launch date for my official what can you say, crafting business. So I plan to have an online store, and I plan to have at least one class for you related to collaging actually. So I'm still working on that. But anyway, these beautiful scans, the fronts and the backs, will be available as one of the downloads in my upcoming store. But this is not what this is about. I just wanted to show you where these images are coming from. What else is here? There's some cheesecloth, which is coffee dyed. There's some carpet tape that I have dyed with, I think, vintage photo. I'm not sure. Some ink, maybe this could have been with some ink. On this one, oh yeah, and I used, on most of these, I used word stickers. And the word stickers are the Tim Holtz Ideology Big Chat stickers. They will be linked below. I've used these a lot. I've used some die cuts, as you can see. I've grunged up a lot of the photos. I used some postage stamps here, coffee dyed doily. This page is the only one where I used an original book page that was in this book, so it had a few pages with photographs. And this is a picture that I really liked of some gypsies. And I really thought it went well with the scheme, the color scheme and the overall feeling of the book. These are some cogwheels from AliExpress. These I can link below as well, here too. Some more just coffee dyed paper. And I just want to say that this one, and this one, and maybe even this one, I think I went overboard with the collaging because they're still pretty much at the beginning of the book, and I felt like I had to include everything I could find. So I think I really went overboard. There's some other collages further back which have a little bit less on them, and I think I enjoy those more. There's some staples as well. So maybe I'll just point out the things that are new on each page that I haven't talked about on other pages yet. So on this one I used some beautiful washies. Then this here is a stamp of a leaf that I have on a wooden stamp that I got at a craft flea market. And this one, on the stamp, I again used this Wild Honey Distress Stain. I just rubbed it over the stamp and then stamped it. And what happens when you do that is you obviously you get the image, you can see here, but it's not as detailed as you would get it with a regular ink because it is more liquid. I also have this here, which is from Your Creative Studio, vintage stationery subscription box. I will link them down for you as well. This here is some baking paper, the regular baking paper that you get at the supermarket, and I have just played around again with the wild honey, which left these beautiful, beautiful splatters here. There's some bulb clips here. And then you see I went around it also. I framed the page basically. Again, just going over it with my distress stain. I love this so much. Here the new items are, because I tried to use something new on each collage. So here the new item is some corrugated cardboard. This is an image from a vintage book that I have coffee stained. Again, some embossing. And another new item is this can opener here. This was an idea that I have from Eva from Bohemian Crafting. She uses these in her journals and I love these. This here is a printout. This was my Easter page, so I did this one on April 12th, which was Easter Sunday, I believe. And this here is a printout of some of the printables from Digital Collage Club. I do have the Digital Collage Club website linked below with some discount codes for you in case you want to join. There's thousands of images you can download. There's no limits on the downloads. You can use them in any projects, even anything you sell. So these are really a really good reference to have. This is Tim Holtz memoranda paper, some coffee dyed paper. This is a beautiful grid washi. This here is masking tape that I have dyed. I think it was with some, I think this was just done with the distress stain actually. I have a video on this, I will link that below, on how I coffee stain papers, and that also included some coffee staining of various tapes, including also this meshed tape there, in case you're interested. Then here we have some bits from, again, the Your Creative Studio subscription box. Those are linked below as well. There's some Tim Holtz memoranda paper. This, I believe, is also Tim Holtz. This here is coffee dyed paper that I have ran through my embossing folder, and then I have gone over it with my distress stain again, the same Wild Honey. I've also gone over this, what is it? I can't think of the name now, you know what it is. I ran over this with the same distress stain again. Here we have, again, one of my cabinet card scans. Again, some embossed coffee stained paper that I then rubbed over with the distress stain. Here we have a wax seal that says love. And here there's some fabric lace here. And this here is, again, some of the baking paper with beautiful splatters on them. And this one on the background, you can see I also splashed. Oh, actually I didn't splash. On this one, I just dabbed a tea bag of black tea. I just dabbed it on there and it left these beautiful marks. So that's another way you can create a nice subtle background actually. Again, one of my photos. This was in a Happy Mail. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, some of this embossing. These prints here are from My Porch Prints. I will link those down for you as well. The new items in this one are this pin, or this brad from, this is a Tim Holtz. Then there's some upholstery fabric here. There's a napkin here, a brown doily, some more fabric, and these prints are again from My Porch Prints. These beautiful roses are from the Digital Collage Club, and these are Victorian roses. I will link those below for you as well. The background of them is again from My Porch Prints. Then we have some cheesecloth, a button here, and some more splashes, some fabric. This is also, the background you see here is also done the same way as the page before, with some tea bag, dabbing the tea bag, the used tea bag on it. I actually love this way of doing a background. Here we have some more vintage stamps and some washi in the background, some more Tim Holtz memoranda paper, some more lace here. Here we have, yeah, this background I've done with watercolors to try something else. This was in a Happy Mail, some beautiful lace petals. Again, one of my cabinet cards. This again is My Porch Prints. This is from Your Creative Studio. And this paper here came from some really old album. It might be from one of those old photo albums, and I think I got this from my Goodwill. Here I've added a napkin. I've just what I did is I just put glue stick on the page and then stuck the napkin down. I didn't decoupage it like with liquid glue or anything. These splatters here are from calligraphy ink, something like this. These two are again from my your creative studio. Then this one here came in a Happy Mail. This one actually I've done in a video, this page. I will link that video below for you in case you wanted to see it, so I don't need to really talk about this a lot. This one has some Happy Mail items, which were these beautiful felt petals or leaves. And then this, I really love this slide here. And then this is some of my old recycled art. I've done this kind of grungy mixed media thing on a paper bag, and then I kind of tore up the whole piece and just wanted to keep the parts that I thought I could reuse, and this found some use on this collage. I was really happy with that. This came in a Happy Mail. Both of these came in Happy Mail, and I really like these. Then this is again Tim Holtz paper. This is from the Digital Collage Club. Tim Holtz. These here are some tiles that I did years ago with some clay, with some like clay that you don't have to bake, it just dries in the air. And I just stamped on it and then glazed over it. I unfortunately don't have a video because that was before my video making times. On this background, I used this self-made stamp, just a cork base and then some washers, I think they're called, which I glued on, and then I put again this distressed ink on it and I stamped on the background. Really love how that came out, really nice and grungy. Then I used one of these Tim Holtz flat paper clips, some more stamping with the same distress stain, to Holtz paper in the back, more of my cabinet card images here, some doilies. This was cut out from a fabric. These gears are a die cut from AliExpress. It's actually a huge die cut. Most of it is covered up. This is from Your Creative Studio. Yeah, not a lot to say about this. Just using up some bits. Love the grunginess of this. This was actually on my glue paper, but I didn't want to throw it away. I love it for a collage. This is the second one that I've done on video. I will link this one below for you as well. For the background for this, I used a toilet paper roll and dipped it in acrylic ink, made like a kind of like a wonky circle, and then I collaged over it. This bee print is from My Porch Prints, as well as these here. Then here's just a random book page. In the background we have some stamping with some corrugated cardboard. Yeah, various bits here. Some cheesecloth as well, some washi tape. These receipts here are from Your Creative Studio as well. What I did here for the background is I wrote, you can hardly see it, I wrote across the whole page with a yellow colored pencil, but then I ended up covering most of it, which is fine. I just wanted the act of writing, and then I didn't mind covering it up. Some napkin here in the back as well. For the background here, I did some stenciling again with my wild honey. And these are again Your Creative Studio bits. one of my images again. Oh, this one actually is not one of my images. This one here, I believe I found on Pinterest, and supposedly it was copy free. I hope it really was. These bits here are actually from some bank statements, old bank statements that I wanted to actually shred, but before I did that I realized that I could just coffee stain them and then use some of the bits, because I think it's really cool to have them here. I also did some more stenciling here with the wild honey. I added this wooden butterfly that I also stained. This is some stamping actually also with this. It just has a bit of a darker color because it had some ink underneath it and they mixed, which I think is absolutely lovely. So this was a vintage stamp. Then these here, this one, and also these here are stamps that I made myself. Two of them are made with foam. So I made these years ago. So I just cut out foam bits, and the foam I got from my local craft store. It's thin foam, as you can see. I used my Stanley knife, but in this case, actually, I used my hole punch. And so that's what this is. And then this one is here, it's this one. So I just cut out some wonky rectangular bits and glued them on a piece of thick cardstock, and it's perfect grungy stamp. And these two that you see here are actually made out of linoleum. Maybe that will take you back to your school days where you made linoleum stamps. I've also done this years ago, and I really love how these turned out, and I love using these. And yeah, there's some, actually this is the only one that also has some of my calligraphy here. So it says creativity is contagious, so I love having that there. And this here is already the last collage, and this is a photo I received in Happy Mail, and it says thankful because this was the last day in Austria where shops were still closed. So on May 1st was a holiday, but on May 2nd shops opened. So that's why I wanted to put this image here of an older lady, and she's thankful that she made it through. So that was, yeah, April 30th. So that's it. So yeah, as I said, I really love having one book with cohesive theme. I really enjoy this, and I might do this again. Yeah, really fun project if you're looking for something and you don't feel like writing a lot or journaling a lot. If you just want to put things down in your book, kind of like a glue book, this might be another option for you. So I hope you enjoyed seeing these, and I hope the links that I put in are useful. Please subscribe if you haven't, if you want to see more of my videos, and give it a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye!